is an introduction to one-point perspective for beginners. We will be creating a drawing of a room, as you can see here, and the materials you'll need is a piece of paper. Larger is better, so if you can find an A3 or larger, that's fantastic. A pencil, any pencil will do, an HB, or you can use a softer or a harder pencil, it doesn't matter. Eraser, and if you'd like a straight edge, you don't have to use a straight edge. I've used it here today, but you can freehand it as well. Before drawing our room, let's talk about what perspective is, just generally. Perspective is the art of representing a three-dimensional object on a two-dimensional surface. So perspective is necessary to give the right impression of an object's height, width, and dimension, as well as its positioning in space on your flat piece of paper. The first thing to talk about, though, is in one-point perspective, there is what's called the vanishing point. The vanishing point is the point at which, if your objects that you see in your drawing continued on, they would all meet at this one point. It's called the vanishing point. And your vanishing point is nearly always on your horizon line. Now, a horizon line is basically your point of view. It's your eye line of where we are seeing our drawing from. A good way to illustrate the vanishing point and horizon line is by using an installation photograph from Ima-Abasi Okon's exhibition at Void. So here we see the piece in Gallery 1. So to find its vanishing point, just so you can see the concept, what we'll do is we'll look at the angles of the objects as they go back into space. So for example, this air conditioning unit, as it goes back into space, you can see it at that angle. So if you continue this line along and then follow that with the next angle, and then do the same with your other objects, they all meet at one point, which is called your vanishing point. So if I illustrated that here, we can see the vanishing point in this drawing is right here. This main line, this horizontal line that the vanishing point is found on, is your horizon line. This line is the line at which we are seeing the composition from. So everything above the horizon line will be looking up at, and everything below the horizon line will be looking down at. So in this image, it's very much in the middle of the actual photograph. You can see there's a pretty equal amount of space on each end here. And we're looking up at our elements. So you can sort of see the bottom of each of these units, but we can't see the tops of them. So we are looking slightly up at them. They're installed high on the wall. So when we are making our own drawing, when we're creating our own drawing, we can start with the horizon line and the vanishing point. Because this is an introduction for beginners, I'm going to put mine in the middle, and I'm going to put my vanishing point in the middle of my horizon line. This way we can see the concept very clearly without complications. So I've got my horizon line, I've got my vanishing point. We're going to be drawing just a simple room today. So I've got that, I understand this, I'm going to draw my back wall of my room. Now, I've drawn my back wall in a simple rectangle, and the reason I've done that is because I'm looking directly at it. This wall is not moving back or forward in space, but the side walls are. So the way to find the correct angle for your ceiling and your side walls is by using your vanishing point. So I'm just connecting the corners of my rectangle to my vanishing point and continuing it on. So my room goes back towards me. Now I think, so we've got our basic shape of the room. I think I am going to put a door on this wall. Now, in most instances, the vertical lines stay vertical, which is quite helpful. So I'll start with my vertical line, the doorway here. And then, to find the top angle, because it's on this wall, I will use my vanishing point again. So we can see our door has been created in the room itself. I'm gonna erase this line because the floor connects on. So we can see this door looks as if it's in the wall. Now, because we're standing on this side of the room, we would be able to see the inside of this door jamb. We will just put another parallel line on the inside here. Since it's above our horizon line, we are looking up at it, so we'd be able to see a little bit at the top of this as well. And we'll put some big windows on this back wall so it's clear. I think I'll put sort of 4 great big windows on the back wall. The reason these lines are horizontal is because we're looking directly at these windows. Like the doorway, we will put the depth of the windows in as well. Okay, so we have the basic outline of our windows, our rectangles, and so what we're going to do is make them three-dimensional now. And we're going to follow the exact same concept that we did with our side walls. I've made our lines a little bit darker so it's clearer. So you're just going to start at the corner of your window. This is the bit of the window that goes back into space, so it's the sill of the window. Start at the corner of your window and just make a little line in accordance or in line with your vanishing point. We're going to do that for each window. Now, the angle for each window is going to be slightly different because where we're standing in the room, you're going to see slightly more of this window on the right than we are the one closer to the middle. So on the left windows, I'm not going to use the right corner, because since it's on the right side, or since these windows are on the right side of the vanishing point, you're going to see the top, bottom, and right side, but you wouldn't see the left side of this window, just like in real life. But these over here, since it's on this side, you're only going to see the left side of the interior part of the window. Now we can add our horizontal and vertical lines. While I'm doing that, I'm going to erase our horizon line. So I have our three-dimensional elements of the windows, but I think I'm going to add in a middle as well. Now I want to make these have volume as well, these middle parts of the window, so I'm going to put them in the middle of our space that we have already. They don't start at the line, they start in the middle, because this is a three-dimensional object and it would be adhered to the middle of that piece of wood, not the very edge. And those are on our horizon line, so we're not going to see the tops or the bottoms of the volume of those bits of the window. We're just going to see the front, the face of them. So already we have a three-dimensional space just with line, which is quite cool. Now I'm just going to put something in the middle of the room so we can see a freestanding object that's not on the wall. I'll put a big table, I think. So just put it in the middle of the room here. That will be the front. And again, same as before. To make the table three-dimensional, you'll add the front lip here, and the legs, which come down from the corners. I've added a parallel line here because you'd see the inside of the legs. And connect for the back legs. Can line it up to the back corner, because that's where they would come from. This part of the leg which pushes back that we can see. So both of these angles will be found by using our point. Otherwise, it is just vertical and horizontal lines. But through just using these very simple techniques, we have created a three-dimensional space. So that's the basic concept of one-point perspective and utilizing line to create a three-dimensional space. I'm just going to add in a few more extra elements, a few details and shadows and such, but essentially this is our completed drawing.